Okay. Good evening. My name is Mike Kimmelman. I'm a project manager for USG Water. We have been contracted by the City of High Springs to install your new AMI system for your water system. And today we're going to talk about AMI, what it means, how we got to AMI, and what that means for you as the customer getting your water from the new water meters. With me is Ben Mashney. He is with HST Utility, and they are contracted to actually do the meter installations. Before we get started, I do want to go over a couple of things that terminology that you may not be familiar with as we go into this presentation, and as I answer any questions you may have. I may be using these acronyms. They'll become more common as you get more familiar with AMI systems. So smart metering is the technology of automatically collecting consumption, diagnostic, and status data from the water meter or energy metering devices, gas, electric meters, and transferring that data to a central database that can be used for billing and also for troubleshooting issues as well as analyzing data. So some of the terms that we use is AMR, which is automatic meter reading, AMI, which is advanced metering infrastructure, MTU, which is meter transmitting unit, DCU is a data collection unit, MDM is the meter data management system, and CIS, which is the customer information system, also known as the billing system that the utility uses. We'll be going over meter reading, the evolution of technology from AMR to AMI, the benefits of AMI, and we'll talk a little bit about the meter data management, both from a public works perspective as well as from an end-use customer perspective. So let's talk about the evolution of meter reading. So let's first talk about the evolution of communication. So all the way back 30,000 BC, communication was basically paintings on cave walls. That's how people communicated and relayed information. And then as we go through the timeline, we get into the 1940s and we have the telegraph. 1902, that's when the first radio signals were produced. 1927 was the first television broadcast. We get into the 1990s, we have the World Wide Web, we have internet, we have blogging. We get into the 2000s, technology is really accelerating now, and we're doing social media, we're doing Twitter, we're doing Facebook, Instagram. So as you can see, as we're getting further and further along the timeline, the technology has advanced quite rapidly. Same thing with meter reading. So back in the dark ages, 1995, everything was read manually. We had groups of people that would go out and read your meters every month. They'd write the information down, they'd hand it over to the billing clerk. The billing clerk would manually enter it into a system and mail out the bills every month. So once a month, you would know what your meter read from your bill. About the late 1990s, we developed the technology for automatic meter reading. And what we did is we put a device on a meter that would collect data, collect the consumption data from the meter, and then every month, someone would either walk by with a probe or a wand, touch a touchpad on the meter box to collect that read, or they would drive a truck, or they would walk down the sidewalk with a transceiver on their back or a transceiver in the truck, and they would send a signal out that would wake up the transmitting unit on the meter, and once a month they would get a new read. So again, technology advanced. We went from meter reading to where someone reading the meter wrote it down to now we're actually getting an electronic read either through the touchpad or through a transceiver on the truck. And that, until about the 2003, 2004 timeframe was when the first AMI systems were being developed and being implemented. The difference between AMR and AMI is significant. AMI is infrastructure. So what we're doing is we're actually putting bases throughout the service territory that are stationary, that actually send and receive information from every meter that's in the system. So today's utilities, High Springs is one of those now, will be getting an AMI system where they're going to be getting data from their meter in hourly increments. So every hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, that meter is going to be transmitting data up to a central computer system called a utility portal with information not only about the meter consumption, but also the meter health and any issues that may be going on with the network. So quite a bit of information that's going to be transmitted back to the utilities. I want to stress, no personal information is being transmitted, okay? It's all meter data. Water meter consumption, meter health, network health. That's all there is. So AMR versus AMI. Communications, AMR systems are what we call a one-way communication path from the meter to the radio transceiver, which gets uploaded into the billing system. AMI is two-way, okay? That means that from the utility office, they can actually communicate and make requests of a specific meter for meter reads. And then the meter will send that information back through the same pathway. So it's two-way communication. Data interval, AMR, again, was once a month. So you would get one reading from that meter a month. With AMI, you get hourly reads. Okay? A lot more information. It allows the customer to have more information about their water usage and about potential issues that may be happening with their water as far as in the home. Architecture, AMR again is either a walk-by system or a drive-by system. Architecture for AMI is fixed networks. We installed 8 data collection units, DCUs, throughout the High Springs service territory that covers your entire service territory. All the meters talk to a minimum of 2 DCUs. I think it's 98% of all your meters will talk to at least 2 DCUs out of the 8. There are some on the outlying edges that will only be able to talk to 1 DCU, but you're still going to get your reads. Analytics, AMR is very limited, and the reason why it's limited is because you're only getting that consumption information once a month. With AMI, you're getting it hourly, so you've got a lot more information to be able to look at, to do analytics, to look for possible leaks, to look for possible reverse flow issues, possible main breaks, things of that nature. Customer service with AMR is reactive. Customer calls in, they got a problem, you're going to roll a truck. It's reactive. You're reacting to the customer. With AMI, it's proactive because we're getting so much information, we can identify a problem before the customer probably even knows that they have a problem, and they can reach out to that customer and let them know that they may have an issue they want to have looked at. So again, how does AMI work? We install a water meter with a meter transmitting unit, an MTU. That MTU is connected to the water meter via a cable, so it's hardwired. Excuse me. The MTU will send a signal on a 450 megahertz bandwidth to a data collector, to all the data, any data collector that can hear it, basically. That data collector will store that information and then at 6-hour intervals send all of that information up through the cloud into the meter data management system for the utility. Everything is encrypted at 256, which is the highest commercial security measure that's available right now. Once it's in the utility system, they can start doing the analytics to determine if there's any issues. At the same time, you've got that information that can be shared with the customer if the customer calls about a question about their meter or their bill. Again, this is just another example of how the AMI system works. What's nice about the system that we're installing here in High Springs is it's open-ended. There are other devices and other systems that can be attached to the AMI network, such as hydrant sensing, pressure monitoring, leak detection for the infrastructure in the water system. So it's open-ended, so a lot of other systems can be, other technologies can be attached to it. You already have the base of the network already in place, so you can build on it. Parking meter, if you decide to go with parking meters, you can put in smart parking meters that can have an application to let tourists know where parking is available and where parking is not available, etc. Why AMI? What are some of the benefits? The biggest benefit is that you're going to reduce your carbon footprint. Now, what do I mean by that? So with AMR and with manual reads, every month you roll a bunch of trucks out to read all your meters. You no longer have to do that. You're reducing cost of gasoline use, wear and tear on the trucks. So that's how, that's one of the ways you're reducing that. Meter issues. Customer calls with an AMI or AMR system or a manual read system. You got to roll a truck. A technician's got to go out there and investigate to see what the problem is. With AMI, you can probably solve 80% of a customer's questions or a customer's concerns over the phone just by the analytics that are being provided by the AMI system. Again, you don't have to roll a truck. Customer comes in to open an account or close an account. With AMR, you have to roll a truck out to that site to get a read off of that meter. So you either have a closing read if you're closing the account or a starting read when you're going to open an account. With AMI, they have that information up to an hour old so that they have that information right on hand. There's no need to roll a truck for that as well. Again, another way to reduce that carbon footprint. You're going to get up-to-date reads every hour, every day, not every month. Advanced analytics are going to allow the consumers, the customers, as well as the utility personnel to identify potential leaks. They're going to get an alert from the system that's going to alert them that there may be a potential leak at a specific meter. Meter and network health information. Again, when the analytics determine that there's an issue, we're going to get an alert that will let us know that there's something that needs to be looked at. So it's not waiting, again, not waiting for a customer to say, hey, I'm out of water or my water pressure is down. We'll be able to see that through the system because the analytics that are going to be conducted during the analysis of the data coming in, it's going to identify it. Customer service improvements. Again, better customer service through the Aclara One utility portal. I've got a couple screenshots a little bit later. You'll see some of the information that they're looking at on a daily basis. Proactive messaging. Again, with the information that's coming in, the clerks will be able to call customers and say, we think you may have a leak. You may want to have someone look at it, have a plumber look at it. And then for the customers, you will have access to your water account via consumer portal. You'll be able to get it through your computer, through your telephone, through your tablet. It's a cloud-based system, and you'll have information at your fingertips about your account, your meter, your account. You'll be able to use it to set a budget if you want to set a budget on your water use, or you want to look at what your water use is this month compared to a year ago, the same month, or last month. So you're going to have a lot of information on hand to help you figure out what's the best way and most efficient way for you to use water. Again, reducing the fleet usage will reduce costs, but it will also reduce that carbon footprint. Manual reads are a thing of the past. Everything will be electronic. You don't have to worry about a meter reader maybe misreading that meter and writing down the wrong information. Everything will be electronic, so no human error. Again, with the consumer portal, instant access to your personal water account. You'll be able to see and compare your water consumption, and you'll receive information on your meter health as well, either usually through an email or a text, and you decide how you want to be notified and how often you want to be notified. Customer service cost savings include being able to proactively notify customers of potential issues. The call centers the clerks will also be better prepared and better equipped to be able to answer your questions instead of saying, we'll just have to send someone out and take a look at it. They'll be able to help you on the phone. Fewer field visits relating to meter issues. Again, as I said, typically with an AMI system, with the data that they're going to have, they're going to be able to resolve about 80% of customer calls over the phone. So this screen, this is the dashboard of the Aclara One utility portal. So this is what the clerks at the Public Works Department are going to see when they first log in. You'll notice on the map, you'll see those little icons. Those are indications of potential issues for different things. So these are actually consumption issues that have shown up. And you can see there's a category for the different criticality of the events, and these are all warning and or notice events, which are very minor. You'll be able to, they'll be able to see how successful the read rate is. So at this point, 100% of the meters that are in the Aclara One system right now are reporting in every day. So when a customer calls in, the clerk is going to be able to go into that specific customer's account and get some good information. They'll be able to look at the consumption on an hourly basis to see what their consumption looks like. They'll be able to see the type of meter that was installed there. They'll be able to see the type of what the last read was, the last reported read in, and when it reported in. Also, as we collect the GPS coordinates at where the meter is located at, and we have a map. So if we have to send a truck, we can share that screen with the technician to go out to that site. So this is the consumption data. So this is at the Public Works office right there, just down the street, and you can see with hourly reads, this is what the clerk has to look at to be able to identify issues. Oops, went too far. There we go. Customer engagement. Again, we're able to provide detailed consumption data to the customers. They have a question about how much water was used on a certain day or a certain time. The clerk can give it to them. Anything that's in the Aclara One portal can be downloaded and printed out or downloaded and emailed to the customer. So if the customer requests a copy of their consumption for a certain period of time, that can be provided. High bill investigations. Again, We can resolve most of the inquiries just by looking at it in Aclara One and looking at consumption data and provide that to the customer. Again, we talked about move-in and move-outs, creating accounts, closing accounts. We're reducing the amount of time it takes to do that work and also reducing the number of truck rolls that need to be made so that we are reducing our carbon footprint. And then again, being proactive and letting customers know if we think that they have a leak. And that can be anything from a leaky toilet flapper to your son or daughter, you told them to go out and wash the car on Saturday, and they started washing the car, and their friend comes by and drags them down to the park, and they leave the hose on. We'll be able to see that. And we can notify the customer if it goes on for more than a couple of days. So the consumer portal is what the end-use customer will have access to. As we get closer to the end of the meter deployment, we will start working on the consumer portal, getting it set up. It will be integrated with the billing system to allow customers to sign up for the consumer portal, which is called VX Smart. Excuse me. That will allow you to log in to the meters that are on your account. If you have 1 meter, you'll have 1 meter on your account. If you have 2 meters, obviously you'll get the information for both your meters. What it will allow you to do is get context on your water use. It'll show you how you're using it, when you're using it, how much of it you're using. You'll be able to go back and get that historic data of how much did you use the prior month, 6 months ago, or even if you wanted to see how much water you used March of this year versus March of the year before. A bill explainer will help to provide you with information about, again, what is in the bill, what was covered in the bill, what the costs were about, things of that nature. We will work with with Public Works to determine if we're going to give you the ability to be able to pay your bills online through VX Smart, or if there's another process that will be used for that. But that functionality is available. There'll be interactive money and water saving recommendations library, a lot of information on the system that will allow you to help manage your water use, as well as figure out ways to cut costs. It's available right now in both English and Spanish, and there is work being conducted on that to increase the language library. And it's just another screenshot of the VX Smart, some of the additional information that you'll be able to pull off of that. You'll be able to configure this to identify specific things that you want to be alerted to. If you take a lot of vacations and you want to make sure that when you leave, no one's using the water, you can have an alert be sent to you if there is water consumption for those specific dates that you're on vacation. If you're a owner of multiple homes here in High Springs, and you've got vacant houses or apartments that are not being used, you can have it set to alert you when there is water use for those accounts. So there's a whole variety of different ways for you to be able to keep track of what's going on with your home as far as water use is concerned. In addition, USG Water has what we call the Visio Center, and what it does is every day it is going to look at the High Springs AMI system, and we're going to look for issues that need to be taken care of. We will alert Public Works here at High Springs when we see something. High Springs will also be receiving daily and monthly reports on the health of their system. Currently, the Visio Center is managing and monitoring over 26 different AMI systems throughout the country. So High Springs will be one of them. And you needn't worry, we look at every system every day. We have automation in place that allows us to do that. That's the end of my presentation. At this point, anybody have any questions for me? Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Hopefully this was informative. And again, if you do have questions, feel free to contact the folks at Public Works, and I'm sure that they will be willing to answer any questions that they're able